Hello, Jaguar students. It's your friendly neighborhood math teacher, Mr. Allred. We're going to talk about EOG Bowling Review number 7. We're going to talk about angles and triangles today. These are all things that we talked about in Unit 7 way back in about March of this school year. The first thing we did was we talked about angles. We talked about complementary, supplementary, vertical, and adjacent angles. So we're going to review those keywords right now. Complementary angles are two or more angles that add up to 90 degrees. There's a lovely example there drawn for you. So complementary angles are two or more angles that add up to 90 degrees in total. We also talked about supplementary angles. Those are two or more angles that add up to 180 degrees. It might look more like this than like that, right? So we talked about complementary and supplementary angles. Complementary angles add up to 90. Supplementary angles add up to 180. We also talked about vertical angles. Those are two angles that are across from the vertex from each other, and they have the same measurement. A lovely example there for you would be an example much like that one. Those are vertical angles. They're across from the vertex, that vertex being this point right here in the middle. They're across from that vertex, and they have the same measurement. We also talked about adjacent angles as well. Those are angles that share a common side. Okay? It's definitely important that you're listening to this video as well as watching it. We talked about angles back in Unit 7. There you go. Complementary, supplementary, vertical, and adjacent. We also had a long discussion about triangles back in Unit 7. We gave 4 different types of triangles. We said they were scalene triangles. Those are ones that have 3 different sides. Scalene triangles have 3 different sides. We also talked about right triangles. Those are triangles that have one 90-degree angle. We even talked about isosceles triangles. Those are ones that have 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. Isosceles triangles. We also talked about equilateral triangles, and those are triangles that have all 3 sides and angles being the same. Okay, those are the 4 different kinds of triangles that we talked about. Okay. We also talked about the number of degrees in every triangle. We said there's 180 degrees in every triangle. Okay, definitely an important rule there. I would probably, if I were in your shoes, put a big star right there. That's probably the most important rule on here. Okay, one of the big things we talked about is the side lengths of a triangle and how they have to work out together. When you take the smallest side of a triangle and add the medium side to it, so take the 2 smallest sides and add them together. When you add those 2 sides together, it has to be larger than the largest side, or you cannot make a triangle unless that's true. Okay, a lovely example of that would be if you had a triangle with side lengths 3, 4, and 5. If you take 3 and 4 and add them together, you get 7, and 7 is bigger than 5. So it would be possible you could make a triangle out of those side lengths. Okay? So we talked about all the angles that we just talked about, and we talked about all the triangles and the rules for those triangles here on the front of those notes. What you're going to do now is I'm going to go through 2 practice problems with you, and then you're going to have the next, 8 practice problems there on the back. Okay? If you look at this first one, it says that SU intersects TV at point R. It asks for the value of X in degrees. We're trying to solve for X. I do have this angle right here and this angle right here. If you notice, they are actually across from this vertex to each other, which means that they are what we call vertical angles. Those 2 angles are vertical angles. I know that because they're across from the vertex to each other. Okay, so I know that one equals the other one. I'm going to write an equation that says that 3x minus 15, this expression, equals the other expression, 75. Okay, now I have a 2-step equation I can solve. I'm going to draw my line down the middle to keep it balanced. I'm going to get rid of that 15 first. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So you add 15 to both sides. When you add 15 to the left, that cancels out your constant, and you're left with just 3x. When you add 15 to 75, you get 90. Now you have something that says that 3 times x equals 90. You want to get x all by itself. Do the opposite of multiplication. Do some division. Divide both sides by 3. That's going to cancel out your coefficient, and you're going to have just 1x that equals 30 degrees. So the value of x is 30 degrees there for that first math problem. I hope that helped for you to understand those vertical angles. Whenever you have vertical angles, you can set them equal to each other and then solve that equation. Number 25 says, which choice shows 3 lengths that cannot be Important that it says cannot be the lengths of the three sides of a triangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to use our rule from earlier that says the two smaller sides have to add together to be larger than the largest side. Okay, I'm going to give a check mark if it can make a triangle and an X if it can't make a triangle, and we're going to see which ones can't make a triangle. For the first one, if you had 2, 8, and 8, 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 is bigger than 8, so you could make a triangle with those. That means it's not the right answer. Okay, for this next one, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 is not bigger than 6, so that does not make a triangle. For C, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 is bigger than 7. That one could make a triangle, and it's therefore not the right answer because it says cannot. And the next one says 5, 6, and 9. 5 plus 6 is 11, and 11 is bigger than 9, so that one could make a triangle, which means it's not the answer to that question. The only one that has three sides that could not be the lengths of the three sides of the triangle is answer choice B. Okay? I've done 2 review questions for you. Okay? Edpuzzle is going to ask you what you get for number 27. I'm not going to help you set it up, but I will point out that it says that they're complementary angles right there. So maybe you can use your notes from earlier to figure out what that means. You're going to try to solve for the value of X. Okay, Edpuzzle will ask you what you think it is, A, B, C, or D. Then you'll have to tell Edpuzzle whatever you think it is. Okay, I appreciate you watching this video. Please remain focused for the rest of class on trying to finish those math problems. And if you're already at home watching this video, then you should be able to stay focused to work on the next 8 math problems as well. Thank you for your time. Please keep all hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Thank you.